Welcome to Jotea. I'm Jodie. Let's build that. Love Island Australia tea. Love Island week 5. We had the most dramatic dumping in Love Island history. And when I mean dramatic, not in a good way. You know, sometimes it's like drama's good. This one wasn't good. Isabelle was dumped from the villa this week. The way she was sobbing was like somebody had actually died. It was actually tragic to watch. She couldn't even breathe through the tears. She was in hysterics. She was like, I want to leave. I want to get out of this place. I want to go right now. She wouldn't even do her exit interview. She said fuck all of the fans, anybody that watches Love Island, because they didn't respect her enough to keep her in the villa. Make it make sense. Connor left with her. Connor was like, she got what she came here for. Her man is leaving with her. She was still literally sobbing. She's like, no, that's not what I came here for. I came here for a career. And you guys kicked me out. I was supposed to be the winner. I own this villa. And you guys are evicting me. That's how she took it. She took it very personally. I mean, it was personal because you're a mean girl. That's why we voted you out. I didn't personally because I'm not a super fan, and super fans aren't real, they're producers. I would have voted you out personally if it was me. The fact that after you got voted out, you went into the dressing room with your little gang and was talking about Boston didn't get kicked out? I got kicked out and not the new bombshells? How dare they kick me out and not them bombshells? This isn't your villa. It's not your villa. Bye. Isabelle and Connor was quick to let us know on Instagram though that after they got kicked out of the villa, they did like a Europe tour, Europe summer. That's what they did. Australians love a Europe summer. So they stayed in Europe and they're still together. So good for them. I'm so happy for them that they found love, but it just wasn't supposed to stay in the villa. A lot of people think they should have won. I'm sorry, Isabelle lost it for herself. She did it to herself. I don't feel sorry for her. I understand the show is all around love, but she lost it for herself. I'm just interested to see who will win, because I'm not backing anybody right now. I was backing Gabby and Jotham, but Gabby is so disgusted by Jotham every time he breathes. Like, he actually disgusts her. He was having a friendly conversation with Mateo. Mateo is a man. He was having a conversation with Mateo, Mia and Boston in the changing rooms. She erased the fact that Mateo was there. It was just Jotham and Boston and Mia having this three-way conversation. There wasn't another guy in the room or nothing, because, you know, she hears what she wants and she also sees what she wants. So in her head, he was just having this one-on-one conversation with girls talking about sex and how he didn't want to have sex in the villa. I think that's a good thing, but she took that very offensively. She's like, it's disgusting. I wouldn't have that type of conversation. It's nasty talk. And Jota was pretty offended by this because she felt like she was shaming him, because he said that he talks like this with his friends on the outside all the time. So the fact that she's literally shaming him for having these conversations, she was disgusted. She's like, no, I wouldn't have those conversations. And it came at the worst time ever because Hotel Amore is here. They did Hotel Amore very differently to last year. I loved last year's Hotel Amore because everybody had to go. I would have liked to see them do it like that again this year, but I guess they like to switch it up and do something new. This time there was bombshells involved. Last year there wasn't. But before we skip over the fact that Isabelle and Connor is gone, we just need to discuss just a little bit. Before she left the villa, the big drama that she caused between Connor and Mick, because she was still very offended from the heart rate challenge. She was so offended by that because he didn't ask her for permission, and he put his foot in it and made it worse because he asked Connor why he was in a pissy mood. Well, he was in a pissy mood because Isabelle was forcing him to have an issue with something that he didn't have an issue with. She was like, he's disrespecting you, he's walking all over you. React, do something, don't just sit there. You need to react. Show me that you can actually start an argument. That's basically what she wanted him to do. So Connor was in a bad mood. I honestly think he was in a bad mood with Isabelle, not with Mick, because I don't actually know what her argument was. Connor was the first person to hug Mick when he came up the stairs, and she was like, he disrespected you. You need to go stand up for yourself. He's walking all over you. Even though it was just a heart rate challenge. It was just a heart rate challenge. When Connor was in the kitchen and he was pissed off, he said, are you annoyed because I turned your girl inside out? Mick, that was too far. That one was just a little bit too far, because that's crazy. Firstly, you didn't do that. Secondly, that's just crazy to say. That one obviously then pissed Connor off. He just kind of walked around the villa like a toddler. Nobody could speak to him. He was inconsolable. I'm surprised he didn't punch a hole in the wall. Yeah, you couldn't speak to him. You could see Isabelle was loving it. She was sitting there laughing, basically. She was smiling at the thought that Connor was pissed off about this. I thought it was kind of childish. She really just wanted to see him argue. I don't really know what she expected to get from that, but she was loving it. Nevertheless, she was loving it. Mick, eventually he did apologize because he realized that comment was out of pocket. He didn't apologize for the challenge because it's self-explanatory. But then we actually ended it perfectly with her being dumped, and honestly it was embarrassing to watch the way everybody reacted to that, and they were like, Not Boston. Boston's not being dumped. Oh my god. Actually, get the fuck out of my face. It's very interesting that they all became very close friends with Boston after Isabelle left. She should have told them all to kick rocks. You know what's hilarious though? Because if we actually spin the block, after Gabby had this conversation with Jotea about how she's disgusted about him having conversations and whatever the fuck else she was upset about, because at this point I can't keep up with what she's upset about. She was sobbing her eyes out about the fact he was having this conversation. He didn't want to have sex in the villa. She was sobbing. Maybe we missed a part of the conversation. I'm gonna put it down to that. Maybe we missed a part of the conversation and she heard something that we didn't hear, but she was actually sobbing, crying. That's how deeply disturbed she was by this conversation that she walked in on. I just don't think it warranted the tears. As I said, it came perfectly timed because Hotel Amore is here. The guys went and they met the new girls for Hotel Amore, and Jotham was chosen. He was chosen by Jade. Kai was chosen by Emma. Jotham surprised me. I did not think Jotham was going to go so heavy on Jade. I really didn't. I thought Jade and Emma, they're both from New Zealand. I don't know anybody from New Zealand. I couldn't really understand them. Their accents were very weird. I thought Emma was very perfectly matched to Kai because neither of them really speak. They kind of just mumble and say words or sounds. Words is a stretch. They say sounds. I couldn't exactly understand them fully, and I understand accents. I can't really understand Kai, and I can't really understand Emma. Jade, I can't put my finger on what it is about her, but there's something that it's like, don't know how I feel about her right now. But her and Jotham actually got on very quickly. One thing I misjudged Jotham on, firstly, I don't care that he's moving on from Gabby because I think he deserves better than Gabby. I think she doesn't like him. I think she sees the NFL title, which he doesn't actually have. He's lying about that. She just sees money, clout, needs to stay in the villa, and she can walk all over him. Except she can't. She can't walk all over him, and he's putting his foot down. One thing I didn't take him for, that he would actually go behind Gabby's back and do it this way. Him and Jade moved very quick in Hotel Amore. I thought he would have been like, okay, I actually really do like you. We can do the whole test kiss for the super fans. We leave it there, and when we get back to the villa, after I've talked to Gabby, then we can continue our connection. I didn't expect him to be as close as he was. You know, it was very a bit over the top for me. I thought he'd have a little bit more respect because he has been with Gabby for a few weeks. I don't rate that. I don't. Even if I don't like him and Gabby together anymore, I don't rate the way he acted because she was at home crying, talking about she's imagining having his kids. So while she was doing that and realizing that he was the man of her dreams, don't really believe her, but that's what she was talking about. He was in Hotel Amore with this girl and they were just all over each other. I just wish he would have held out and then done that when he got back to the villa, because now I'm looking at him sideways. Like I said, I don't actually know who I want to win. I don't care for any of these people anymore because they're all really, really pissing me off. Who could I back to win? Boston and Mick? Mia and Alex? I had no faith in Kai. Kai and Jana had a discussion before he left the villa where they put boundaries in place, and she really trusted him. She really believed he was going to follow these boundaries. If I could have told her that was never going to happen, maybe she would have believed me, maybe she wouldn't have. He definitely didn't follow these boundaries. She asked him, don't kiss anybody before speaking to me first. I don't care if you get to know somebody, just don't go past that boundary. He didn't really care for her boundaries. He went straight in. They were all over each other. Kai was walking around that hotel room naked. He had her in the shower again. I mean, he has a habit of getting into the shower with blonde girls. That's his thing. He was talking about the shower is the only area with no cameras. He definitely would have taken things further if she would have allowed it. I did actually think it was hilarious, and it might be a little bit mean of me, but I thought it was so funny when Mick got back to the villa and he's giving them his story time about the guys are gone to Hotel Amore. He really dragged that story on because they kept interrupting him. I would have too. They were sobbing listening to his story. You would swear their husband had just gone to war. We all know that Kai will always disrespect Jana in terms of cheating on her, but when I heard Emma calling Jana bitch, like, she was literally saying she doesn't know that bitch, she doesn't have any loyalties to that bitch, she was calling her old mate. That's disrespect on a different level, because you're allowing a girl that you don't know to disrespect her name. If you want to cheat on her and you want to do all that, okay, that's a different type of thing, but you actually then letting her disrespect Jana's name. That's where you should have definitely put a stop to things and be like, okay, she doesn't actually even have respect for Jana, maybe I shouldn't do anything here. But no, you didn't. You went further and further and further, and you actually allowed her to keep chatting shit by keep referring to her as your ex, having your ex in the villa. People are listening to you and all they're hearing is you have an issue in the villa. You're not telling them that you're interested in pursuing the connection. The way he describes it is not like, oh, my ex is in the villa and we're actually rekindling things. That's not the way he talks. But I genuinely think Kai is a horrible person. He has no regard for Jana, her feelings. I don't know why she wastes her time on him. Him and Emma basically had a one night stand behind Jana's back. Now the girls had their turn for Hotel Amore, and we had, of course, bombshell from last year, Dylan. I mean, he wasn't a bombshell last year, he was an OG last year. We've got Dylan back, and we have Bailey. Funny enough, both guys were pretty into Jana. Dylan and Jana have history. So Dylan was actually in her DMs, and they were apparently flirting with each other at the start of the year. But wasn't she in a relationship at the start of the year? She said her relationship ended in February, and they were talking at the end of February. So I don't know, I feel like there could be some mixed lines here. Maybe when Kai and Dylan come face to face, we can see if Dylan was the other man. What's going on here? Was she really actually talking to people in the DMs and Kai was right all this time? That was a two-way thing. It did look like Tamara was pretty interested in Dylan. I mean, if she came in here looking for an Irish guy, I don't know why she came to Australia, to be honest. But we have two Irish people in there now. Dylan doesn't seem too interested in her. He was more interested in Jana and Boston. And then Bailey was interested in Jana and Mia. So he actually ended up choosing Mia, and Dylan chose Jana. Jana was very respectful. She kept her boundaries to Kai for the whole thing. She wouldn't even kiss him during the you need to test your connection thing. She gave him her hand to kiss, and that is Dylan's second time in Hotel Amore where the girl would not kiss him. I mean, last year he didn't kiss Mimi by choice. She slept with the wall in the middle, and all she did was talk about Kai. Honestly, I was rolling my eyes watching these scenes because she could have just like gotten to know Dylan on a bit of a deeper level without crossing that line. It was a 99% chance that Kai wasn't going to respect her, and she knew that. But I think as well it was a moral thing for herself. She wanted to prove that she wasn't the problem. I want to know where Jotem and Kai was on the nights that the girls were in Hotel Amore, because they didn't get 2 nights there. So where did they go on that night? Because there's a night missing. I'm assuming they were just in a random hotel on their own, isolated. Shouldn't they have just done it all on the same night? I wanted to see Mick and Boston go from this friends to lovers vibe, so I was pretty happy to see them getting a little bit closer this week. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what happens with them next week. Boston deserves some love in there. Dylan is being very respectful in this Hotel Amore. I think Dylan has always been respectful. A lot of people don't like Dylan because of what happened with him and Sophie last year, and I think he also really understands these boundary things, because this is the exact moment where Sophie actually cheated on Dylan with her ex. So I'm sure he gets Jana's point 100%. Now when it got time for everybody to return to the villa, I was actually so nervous waiting to see what was going to happen. So Jana actually came back by herself, which we all knew was going to happen, and Dylan gets to come back as a solo islander. Kai, surprisingly, I mean, is it surprising? Probably not, because he's a bit two-faced and a bit stupid. He came back on his own. He did not recouple with Emma. Maybe he thought that Emma was going to stay outside the villa and not enter with him. She entered. She said, I'm surprised you didn't recouple because we had fun in the shower. We kissed all night. I don't really understand why you didn't recouple with me. It was quite embarrassing because everybody was cheering when Kai walked in. They were so happy for Jana. They were proud of him. And then it was like, actually, there's nothing to be cheering about because I was a coward and didn't recouple, but I did cheat on you all day long. So it would have been better if you just recoupled, to be honest. Save her the heartache. But the worst part is he actually started bitching at her. He was like, what are you bitching about? Stop whinging. It's not a big deal. I accidentally kissed her. How do you accidentally kiss someone? Someone tell me how do you accidentally kiss somebody? I don't understand. He's really annoying me because he keeps saying he kissed her and went to sleep. The way he's saying it, anybody would accept that information by thinking that means they kissed once and they went to sleep. That's not what happened. It's not what happened. Roll the tapes. I need movie night. I need movie night to happen, and I need everybody to be exposed. They kissed multiple times. He walked around the room naked. They were in the shower together. He wanted her to stay in the shower longer. They kissed in the shower. There was no cameras in there. We don't even know what happened in there. He's lying to her. And I actually hope Emma sits her down and is like, this is what happened. If Emma is a good person, she will tell Jana face to face what happened in that villa, what happened in the hotel, whatever you want to call it. Now Jotham came back and he stood on business. He came back with Jade, and Gabby is obviously stood there alone. Gabby instantly gets bitter, gets ugly. She stood up there and she's saying, I'm too hot to be stood next to these two, insinuating that she's above them and Jade is nothing compared to her. Jotham's nothing compared to her. She's above them, and it's just not true. It's not true because classiness and everything else comes above any of that. And honestly, Jade is a really beautiful girl. I don't think it makes her her look any better. In fact, it makes it way easier for Jotham to do what he's doing when you're acting that way. She's also talking about his outfit is ugly as fuck. It's like very childish. It's very childish and it's very predictable. It's predictable because you're proving to him that you're immature. Ever since Jotham said she's immature, she started acting immature. It's kind of crazy. Mia came back with Bailey. She told Mick he's not taking anything serious and you snooze you lose basically. Mick is kind of just going girl to girl. I don't think he actually wants a relationship, but I do actually think Mia and Alex were really cute together. We did only get to see a tiny bit of them, so I'm actually hoping that we get to see more of them. Is she into Bailey? I'm not sure. She did keep talking about that she kept thinking about Alex. I found it so interesting that the first person to run after Gabby was Boston. Where's her friends? Where's her best friends? Where's the girls that have been bitchy and rude to everybody with her all week? Why is Boston the first one to run after her and make sure she's okay? Where was her girls? But Gabby was in tears. She wasn't okay. She felt embarrassed and she was really sad because she did seem to be falling for the guy. While he was out at the villa, she's realized all of her feelings. She was really upset and I was actually feeling a little bit sorry for her seeing her so upset. She ruined it by being so mean. She didn't need to be so mean to them. She walked around the villa then talking about Jotham's gonna have no friends in here. He's gonna have no friends. Nobody is gonna talk to Jotham because Gabby said so. Don't talk to him because Gabby said so. She runs this villa. I think the guys are over her. We see Mateo and Ross talking about it a couple of times this week that they don't blame Jotham. If they were Jotham, they would run for the hills. They obviously see what we see and that's that he deserves better. Gabby really does think that she is above everybody. I think she kind of thinks she's Kim Kardashian and she just isn't. Be yourself. I think next week is going to be so jam-packed with drama. I think it's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see it. I think we're going to get movie night and it's going to kick off. There's definitely going to be even bigger divides in the villa now because there's two bombshells that are definitely never going to get along with the original cast. Listen, this is where I mean the bombshells get the treatment they deserve, right? Because these bombshells actually done something that requires a reaction. Boston and Mia, they didn't do nothing last week to require the reaction they were given. Not that I actually would promote any of that because last week was disgusting, but these girls are the ones that should get that treatment. You know what I'm saying? They should get the cold shoulder and you can't sit with us. Mean girl vibes. Not Boston and Mia last week. Don't forget to subscribe and let's talk in the comments about all your thoughts on this week. Let me know what you think of Kai and Jana. I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that video and I will see you guys then.